Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 24 in season number 8 of the NOFSRL Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. We're here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Krystal Night Race at Bristol, 100 laps around the world's fastest half mile. Definitely one of the most unique races of the year. Sometimes a calm race, most of the time it's a wreck fest. And we have guys coming in the pit lane, guys staying out, the strategy's all over the place. And while passing isn't too frequent on the racetrack, it happens quite a bit because of all the strategy and all the wrecks. I'm alongside Trey Wright. How many of these wrecks and strategy plays are we going to see in this race that will affect this event here today and affect the outcome? We've seen it happen a lot in the past. How much do you think it's going to affect this race here tonight?
Well, it's honestly a toss-up, Napa. As you have said, this race can either be organized chaos or utter chaos. We see a lot of strategy play, or we see, like last season, total domination by drivers such as Jesse Turner. I'm going to go with the option that leans towards absolute chaos. It's going to be a wild race, and whoever can survive at the end is going to be up there at the front trying to contend for the win.
We'll have to see who's in contention as this race concludes later on tonight. Of course, contention isn't really a word that many people have in their vocabulary when it comes to the championship here, as Nathan Baird holds on to a 103-point lead ahead of John Arndt, the largest point lead in Chick-Fil-A Cup Series history. And this is a rookie doing this, by the way. Not necessarily a rookie to Napa Fan. He was in the Turkey Hill Series last year, but his first ever Chick-Fil-A Cup Series season. And he has a 103-point lead with 5 races left to go. Matthew Phillips is 108 points behind. Emily Anderson, 109 points behind him. Justin Roberts, 111 points behind. The battle was on for second in the points. However, it still isn't over yet. Nathan Baird has not clinched the championship yet, but we could be seeing 2 weeks from now when we head to the Darlington Raceway him clinch the championship in that Southern 500. It is a very, very high chance that will happen in 2 weeks' time. But we're not going to focus on the championship here tonight. We're just going to focus on the race, because what's there to focus on in the championship? Tomorrow's a little bit of a different story with the Haas IndyCar Series finale. Definitely recommend you guys check that out. But today, it's all for the bragging rights. I won at Bristol. Jesse Turner can say that. He won this race last year. Diego Yepez looking to say that for his second career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory. He is starting alongside John Arndt in row number 1. Sebastian Cuculon alongside Silas Orta in row number 2. Both of those drivers going for their first career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victories. Lucas Jacobson in the number 64 alongside Justin Roberts in the number 38. Daniel McMillan, winner of this race in Season 6 and runner-up last year. His average finishing position here at Bristol in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series, 1.5. Better than anybody else in the field. So watch out for McMillan here tonight as he starts on the inside lane. Brad Stover alongside him there in row number 4. Then you got Wyatt Quayle and Mitchell Henderson rounding out the top 10 starting positions here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. And we're going to get these guys to roll off here. Diego Yepez, like I mentioned, rolling off in the first position. Good chance of his second career race victory. I'm going to ask you, Trey, who do you think's going to win here tonight in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol?
At number 75, Toyota of Daniel McMillan. He's my pick to win. Like you said earlier, average finish of 1.5. I know this is only his junior season in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series, but still, he knows how to get around here at Thunder Valley. He's my pick to end up in victory lane tonight.
We'll have to see what we can do. Starting in the 7th position, runner-up last year, winner in 2017. We'll have to see who the winner's going to be in 2019. Green flag in the air! Let's go racing at Bristol, baby! Lap 1 and a bonus point to Diego Yepez. Jump on the start. Cuculon up to second. Lucas Jacobson trying to get on John Arndt. John Arndt in the outside lane, and there's your pick to win. Already up to the 4th position, Daniel McMillan. And as you can tell, that inside lane is where you want to be. Outside pulse hitter John Arndt falling way back in the 05 at the start of this race.
The outside lane here at Bristol, it's a lot like the outside lane at Talladega. Does not work at all. And John Art, he is falling like a rock. And this is definitely not going to help him hack into that magnificent points lead that Nathan Baer's got.
And of course, John Art, he's been in a battle with a rookie for a championship before. Last year in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, he's battling with Andrew Ross, and Ross had a pretty significant point lead. It wasn't as massive as Baer's, but he had a pretty big point lead with about 3 races left to go in the season, and Arndt was able to close that in. But right now, Arndt has yet to find the inside lane. Not working out too well for the Elijah Gordon Incorporated driver. Diego Yepes, however, is making his team owner, William Brock, pretty proud right now. He's led every lap so far here at Bristol. However, Titan Fury and their driver, Sebastian Cucalon, going for his first career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory, right behind him in the second position.
And the key thing is here to not tear up your car early. This is a 100-lap race, so you want to save your car towards the end because that's where it's going to count.
It's definitely where it's going to count, and as long as you're still in contention later on in the race, you might have a shot at the race victory. You never know when a caution could come out, and the guy ahead of you needs to pit for fuel. You got to keep that in mind. We will have pit stops in this race. It's a 3X race, which means it's 3 times as frequent as it would be in real life. Yellow on the racetrack. Somebody's around. And we got a bit of a melee right here. I believe whoever went around saved it and went straight, but we're going to have to see who it was as these guys race back to the line. And this is where the strategy begins. Yepes has led every lap so far. We're going to have a restart. Looks like Brad Stover's got a lot of damage in the number 99. That might have been where the accident occurred. Fisher G with some damage as well in the number 6. But don't count on those guys being the only guys with damage at the end of this one. After all that, John Arndt fell back to 13th after starting second. Lost 11 positions since the start of the race. We'll have to see if anybody stays out here. Yepes coming down, Cucalon, Jacobson, McMillan, Wyatt Quayle. It looks like everyone's coming down. I'm a little surprised by that one. We're not seeing anybody stay out here, even though we're really early on in the race. Everybody wants to stay with the same strategy as Diego Yepes, our race leader. So we'll have to see if he comes out the race leader. He's got the backstretch first pit stall. So we'll have to see where he comes in relation to everybody else. Sebastian Cucalon pitting on the front stretch. We'll follow with him in the number 13 and see where he comes out in relation to race leader Diego Yepes. Great run there for Cucalon, great run for McMillan and Jacobson at this point. We'll have to see if any of these guys pull any strategy and win the race off.
Going to be very interesting to see. Does anyone take 2 tires?
McMillan's
going to come out first. He's going to come out ahead of Yepes.
And I think everyone went 4 tires right there, but McMillan, master at Bristol, going to lead a lap here in the Krystal Night Race. Cucalon give up a bonus point towards the championship as he led a lap right there. And Cucalon is a guy who is up there, I mean, relatively. No, he's still over 100 points behind our points leader, but he is top 10 in the points coming into this race, and that could, just could, affect the championship. But Daniel McMillan winning the race off the pit lane. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol. And they were 3 wide off the corner, and Sam Adio was involved in an accident last week at Rockingham Motor Speedway. And Stover hit the outside wall, and Sam Adio had Carter Friesen and Nathan Baer to his inside. And there was just nowhere to go as Sam Adio spun the 99 around. A relatively minor accident here at Bristol. You're going to see Fisher G right there, and the number 6 machine has nowhere to go as Stover washes up the racetrack. And that might knock out Fisher G from the rest of this race, but I would imagine everyone else will be able to continue after this first wreck here at Bristol.
So they're coming off 3 wide. Sam Adio's right on the 99's quarter panel, and then just nowhere to go. Actually, for Fisher G, he was the biggest loser in this wreck, but like you said, pretty tame for Bristol. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg.
It probably is. We have no idea what to expect, as we've already had 3 different race leaders so far, and like I mentioned, a lot of these passes are going to be made not on the racetrack, but on the pit lane, and in the melee of all these accidents, Daniel McMillan won the race off. He's going to lead us to the restart here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol, race 24 of the season, in Season 8 of the NOFSRL Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. We're back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. You're going to be restarting on lap number 14 of 100. Daniel McMillan is your race leader, followed by Diego Yepes, Lucas Jacobson, Patrick Smith, and Wyatt Quayle. Yeah, Christian Master up there, Seth Cole, Kukulon, Fitzwater, and Julio Cesar. The top 10, we have some guys who ended up a lap down. The place is so small that the guys in the back end up getting lapped before their pit stop is over. You see those guys there at the end of the field, and I'm pretty sure Fisher G is out of the race in number 6. Back to racing in the Krystal Night Race. You see Josh Marzak, lap car ahead of Daniel McMillan. He was not involved in any accident, even though he does have a little bit of damage. I believe he'll be good to go and race about the same speed as McMillan behind him. So this is going to get interesting right here. And the yellow back out again here at Bristol, and the madness has begun.
Riley Spurley involved.
Riley Spurley in the number 39 with some rear damage there. The good thing is, Kukulon. A little upset with Seth Cole, maybe. We'll have to see what happened on the restart right there. Seth Cole getting spun around in the number 83 machine.
Fireworks are already starting to get lit.
Yeah, we're only on lap 15 of 100 here. McMillan wins the race back to the line, and okay, this is where the strategy's going to come into play here, because I cannot imagine all these guys coming down right here. But they are. Ah, there we go. But you know what? I think those guys are a lap down, so that's why they're all staying out, because they can't come down the pit lane. So they're all coming back down again. McMillan, the race leader. We'll have to see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the field, but very interesting strategy. I'm surprised everyone has come down both times, and we're not even a quarter of the way through this race yet.
Going to be very interesting. McMillan, he only took 2 tires last stop, so I'd imagine that he might take 4.
And I think he's only taking 2.
Yep.
They wanted to make sure they got enough fuel in that thing, and he's going to fall back. And our new race leader, I believe, is going to be Lucas Jacobson, number 64. Great run for Jacobson up to this point. We're going to end up with more lapped cars because of these guys staying on the pit lane, getting lapped by the pace car right there. Just such a small racetrack that if you're in the back of the field to come down the pit lane, like I mentioned, you have the chance of getting lapped. We're going to go ahead and quickly see what happened to bring out the second caution of the night here at Bristol. We're just going to replay this one since we'll probably see a lot of these in the race. This was coming to the restart. There were 3 wide on the restart there. Ace Garcia, Matthew Phillips, and Spurley getting 3 wide there. But Spurley will be able to continue in the number 39. He got sent into the outside wall there by Matthew Phillips. Well, the race off the pit lane was won by Lucas Jacobson. We have not seen him much this season for Wade Enterprises. Of course, his teammate Alexander Rowe got the race victory last week. He wants to be the 3rd and final driver from Wade Enterprises to get a victory this season, as John Andrews and Alexander Rowe both have done so. We'll have to see what he does on the restart here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol. Back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, Lucas Jacobson, the race leader. Pole sitter Diego Yepes has gotten back to 2nd. It's Patrick Smith has got a little bit of damage here in the number 66 machine. He's going for his 3rd win of the season. Kukulon, how about Julio Cesar right there in the number 10 machine? Uncharted driver, another uncharted driver also in the top 10 with Stephen Thompson in 8th. Got McMillan, Wyatt Quayle, Thompson, John Art, and Mitchell Henderson, the top 10. And we have ourselves 34 drivers on the lead lap. Sam Adio is now a lap down on the 48, but other than that, nobody new a lap down. And nobody in front of Lucas Jacobson, meaning we have a clean restart. And we got Diego Yepes looking to the inside. Couldn't get there to the inside of Lucas Jacobson.
That was very close. If he clipped him, he probably would have sent him spinning, and he would have walked up back the racetrack, and that would have been interesting.
Patrick Smith coming down. I believe the damage a little bit too much on the 66 machine. So he is going to head down the pit lane, and that's going to put a bit of a gap right now between Yepes and now 3rd place, Julio Cesar in the number 10 machine. Cesar to the inside of Sebastian Kukulon. Going to open the door right here for Daniel McMillan to gain a position. And I think McMillan is one of these guys to watch out for in this event. I think he's got one of the better chances to win, like you said, Trey. A 1.5 average finishing result here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. Better than anybody else in the field. And he's trying to get on Kukulon, but Kukulon putting it to him there on the outside lane. Jacobson remaining out front, trying to pull away from Diego Yepes. And he's doing a good job as a rookie driver here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. Development driver to Jonathan Wong. We have not talked about Jacobson hardly at all this season, but here he is, leading the field at Bristol. Might be some of the first laps he's led all season here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series.
Yeah, definitely haven't talked about him a whole lot, but he's going to need to, number one, fend off Diego Yepes, and number two, he's going to have to deal with lap traffic. So
we're closing in on your guy, Josh Marzak here, so what is the advice you give to lap traffic around this place? I mean, there really isn't a good place to be if you're a lap car.
Just try and stay high because everyone's going to go low, and just get out of the way because you're going to cause a big wreck, and you're going to quite a few people by getting in their way.
Jacobson able to stay out front, and I think we see this very often with lap machines. You got Brad Stover coming in and coming out every single lap. I would expect him to come down the pit lane here. Oh boy, he's going to check up the leaders. And I don't know what he's trying to do. Yellow is out, race back to the line. Yepes on the outside lane is going to get around, and Jacobson had nowhere to go. Tristan Allen and Nicholas Samadio were on the apron there, and Jacobson could not avoid them, and Yepes has retaken the lead here at Bristol.
Rama on lap 28.
Oh boy, Jesse Turner involved, Michael Canto. I think we had our huge wreck here. And it's going to be a lot of this tonight at Bristol. It's like a demolition derby event every single year. And we come into this race expecting it too, so we don't redo it. But Tristan Allen, tough break for him. Tough break for last year's winner. Jesse Turner also heavily involved. I think Matt Dallio's got a bit of damage. They might have checked up down the backstretch. And a lot of guys are going to have damage before this race is done. So Jacobson is officially second still in the number 64. He's coming down the pit lane, but they're going to have to repair the damage on that machine. I don't think he's going to be able to continue.
Might be able to. Just just cut off the sheet metal on the front end of the car and make it into a modified. So I don't see why not.
Problem is he might have some engine damage after that hit right there. If it's crunched up that much. He's taking tires, so he might be good to go. But another thing is, too, if he bent up the front of that machine enough, he's going to be slowing down a lot of guys here. And you know what? That guy I was talking about who might get the race victory, well, Daniel McMillan has won the race off the pit lane once again. He's playing an off strategy to everybody, and it's working out pretty well for him right here. So new race leader, Daniel McMillan. We've had ourselves 4 different leaders in this race. McMillan, Yepes, Kukulon with 1 lap led under the first caution, and then, of course, Jacobson, who led a majority of the last green flag run. We're not going to have too many guys on the lead lap after all this is said and done, but that's just what it is here at Bristol. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out this third caution of the race. Lap number 30, I do believe, here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol. And it all started with Steven Thompson overshooting turn 2, hitting the outside wall, and coming back down right into this pack of cars. Sam Adio got hit there and lost control of his race car. I don't know if Nathan Baird gained any damage from this. I mean, Nathan Baird has been avoiding these things like crazy. Alonso gets hit right there. Back in there, Skivnicki got sent to the inside wall. Orta avoids it, but you see right there, Tristan Allen and Jesse Turner get caught up in it right there. And I think ahead of them, you're going to see... Well, I don't think Christian Master got involved, but you see Raj Ray, Andrew Miller, Emily Anderson getting piled up there in turn number 3. Michael Cantor with damage, Patrick Smith as well. Remember, he actually came down the pit lane as he was 3rd. And then right here, the lap cars are trying to avoid the accident. They're on the apron here, and Jacobson follows them. And Jacobson gets slowed down here by the lap traffic. Yepes would have won the race back to the line regardless of what happened here. But Jacobson running right into the rear of Nicholas Samadio there. We did see Jacobson come back on the racetrack. I just don't know if he's going to be able to contend for the race win anymore.
We're here with Nicholas Samadio, and common thing to happen, Steven Thompson overshoots the gap, and then Tristan Allen, large violent hit for a lot of these guys. They stack him up in turn 3, and then Lucas Jacobson, he can't see through the smoke. And you'll see him right here, right on the back of Samadio, but... So, Hopefully he'll be able to still have a decent shot at winning, but he might have some engine damage, that car, so I'm not entirely sure. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And looking back at it, it was a pretty soft hit, so it might just be cosmetic damage. We're going to have to see on this restart how fast he goes and how fast he jumps. But speaking of jumps, Daniel McMillan jumped Diego Pez, and he's going to be the new race leader here at Bristol. We'll have to see if McMillan gets it done again at the world's fastest half mile. Back here at Bristol, Daniel McMillan, new race leader. This is going to be an interesting restart, however, because Riley Spurley going to be a slow car there on the front of the 75. Diego Pez, Justin Roberts, Julio Cesar, Jacobson, like you said, turn it into a modified. We'll have to see what he does on this restart. He rounds out the top 5. Only 22 drivers on the lead lap, and one of those guys is Riley Spurley. A lot of guys caught a lap down because of the way the pit cycles work here at Bristol. But the guys who have been up front in this race, a majority of this race, are still up front. And we're going to have a good battle here on this restart lap. 34-100, McMillan trying to get the jump here on Yepez. He's got to get around Riley Spurley, however. He's going to try to do so. Can't quite do it. Spurley might be fast enough here. We're just going to have to see. But you see McMillan with Yepez right behind him there. We'll have to see if this affects anything.
3-1 off the corner. 3-1 off the corner.
3 wide for position. And I think that answers our questions pretty well.
Whoa.
Jacobson in the number 64 clears for the 3rd position.
Good job.
They're still 3 wide. Roberts way up the racetrack with Julio Cesar to his inside, and they're going to figure it out. Jacobson's going to get shuffled out of line right here. Wyatt Quayle up to the 3rd position. Here comes Kukulon. And now they're 3 wide again for 3rd. Kukulon to the inside of Jacobson. Not going to be able to get it right there. Jacobson might get the run up top. Not going to quite happen. Nathan Baird is a lap down at this point. Keep that in mind. He's a lap down right here. More 3 wide. Roger Ray on the outside. Julio Cesar and Justin Roberts. They keep it together. And somehow, some way, we are still green here at Bristol. But Krystal Night Race action still going on with Daniel McMillan leading the field in the number 75.
Who says short track racing isn't exciting?
I don't think many people say that. Chris Nathan Baird, I believe right now, is the first guy 1 lap down. He's hoping to get around all these guys, get back on the lead lap, but that's the only way you can regain a lap is if you pass the race leader. He's 22nd right now. Nothing special, and the yellow. And the race back, won by McMillan. We knew that couldn't keep up for too long.
Oh.
Trey Bartow is destroyed. The outside wall right there. His day is done for Titan Fury Motorsports. Jonathan Skimnicki might have been caught up in this one as well. Stephen Thompson again. Lap 40 of 100. McMillan's still out front here, and this is where we might start to begin seeing strategy where we see guys staying out, because it was another quick caution. Of course, McMillan is going to lead him down the pit lane, but we might see some guys in the back stay out. Of course, Nathan Baird is a lap down. So is Andrew Miller in the 47, I believe. The 7 of Christian Master is. Matt Dallio is a lap down. I know Patrick Smith's a lap down. Brad Stover's a lap down. Yeah, all these guys staying out are a lap down, so everyone coming down is on the lead lap. I think even Fitzwater ended up a lap down. Yeah, Fitzwater, Anderson, all those guys a lap down. So McMillan still out front. We'll have to see if he wins the race off this time, and I think if he wins the race off on this stop, he's going to have to be passed on the racetrack for the race victory by somebody. But we'll have to see what McMillan can do. Looks like it's 2 tires. They're making sure he has enough fuel. He's getting out right here. And he will beat Diego Yepez once again. So McMillan will remain out front. Uh-oh.
Maybe a problem. Emily Anderson.
Oh, boy. Yepez, however, did not avoid that.
Oh.
And he's going to be upset with some guys because he was second off the pit lane. And he got caught in by those lap cars. He's got a little bit of damage, but he'll regain back to the 2nd position, I do believe. Either that or he's going to file in around the 7th position. Oh, but if I'm Diego Yepez, I'm not too happy about what happened right there.
Oh, I'd be screaming on the radio.
They did not let him through. And even McMillan should be upset because McMillan barely avoided that pit road wall right there. Thankfully, it did not take Yepez out, but he does have damage and it might affect him. So we'll have to see what happens on the restart. He's now down to the 6th position. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Trey Barcho ever to bring out the 4th caution of the night here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol.
The corner again, Andrew Ross just hooks the side of the 4-car and sends him up the track and then goes down. Stephen Thompson nowhere to go. Skivnicki also involved. That was just a pretty bad crash, and then Barto just brings it up to the top of the racetrack. He is destroyed. Stephen Thompson had got pile drived. But once again, just 3 wide off the corner. These guys aren't learning not to do that.
And I think Barcha just stalled it because I saw him driving in the pit lane earlier. Tough break, though. They're all going to be out of contention for the race victory. McMillan, however, is the first race leader so far to come down the pit lane under a caution and come out still the race leader. So that might be an advantage for McMillan. They've been putting 2 tires on the machine this entire time. So we'll have to see if that gives them the race victory here tonight. We'll get to the restart here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol. Be back to racing here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. We're close to halfway here in the Krystal Night Race, and McMillan still leads the field with Julius Anderson, Wyatt Quayle, Justin Roberts, and Mitchell Henderson, the top 5. Yepez, we saw what happened to him, and that's it.
There goes the engine.
The engine's done. I don't know if that has to do with what happened there on the pit lane earlier or not, but Yepez is going to be very upset. After starting on the pole position, his chances of winning this race are dashed. We have ourselves 19 guys, now 18 on the lead lap as Yepez will be out. You see the 3 guys ahead of him here. John Andrews is a pretty fast race car at this point. He's going to put Yepez, or should I say Roger Ray, on the outside, and Yepez just stopped on the racetrack to trigger the caution.
That's great. Hopefully no one runs into him. Oh, well,
he's gone, but Justin Roberts got in the Roger Ray right there, and Roberts went around.
Extracurricular activities.
And that was an accident right there. I think Roberts slid up in the Roger Ray as they were trying to get around him. But we saw what happened there. We're not going to replay it because we know exactly why the caution is out. It's because Yepez stopped on the racetrack. He could not get back around to the entrance of the pit lane. And the official entrance here at Bristol is off the front stretch right there. And, oh, man, another issue.
Good
Julius
Lord.
Anderson, who was 2nd at the time, winner 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen, has blown up as well. This is going to make it easier for McMillan to win the race off. Now, there's got to be some point in this race, and there it is. Wyatt Quayle is going to stay out on the racetrack and take the race lead away. Roberts is also going to stay out. Julio Caesar, Kukulon, John Arndt staying out. I believe Jacobson's still in the lead lap. He's going to stay out. Senore's a lap down. It's 5 laps down, actually, in the number 16. I don't know how that happened. We would be here an entire day if we tried to measure every little thing that happened on the racetrack here. We're going to see where McMillan comes out here. Oh, boy. They got to be careful. Well, you know what? I think they'll be all right.
Wide. Don't do anything stupid.
Silas Orta won the race off there out of those guys. He's going to jump McMillan. We'll have to see how this strategy works out for McMillan because this is the first time where McMillan's going to be deep in the field. He's going to be behind quite a few guys. So the guys who stayed out here, I have a few of them. Wyatt Quayle is the race leader, Justin Roberts, Julio Caesar, Kukulon, John Arndt, Lucas Jacobson, and those are the only 6 drivers to stay out. Next guy in line is Silas Orta behind all the lap cars. McMillan is in 8th. Then it is the 25 of Mitchell Henderson running 9th, and Nathan Stapleton in the 10th position.
Lots of cars with damage. There's hardly a single car that does not have damage. Although the old saying goes, if your car has damage, that means you're racing well. So, I don't know.
Well, our race leader, Wyatt Quayle, does not have any damage, and he's leading the race. So he's racing pretty well. We're not going to have any lap cars in front of a race leader. When we cross the line this time, it'll be halfway through the Krystal Night Race here at Bristol. Justin Roberts, Julio Caesar, Sebastian Kukulon, and John Arndt. The top 5. We'll see. Just check in where Nathan Baird is still the first guy 1 lap down in 17th. So a pretty decent night for Nathan Baird right there. However, the lead might go back down to under 100 points. The way it's currently running right now, John Arndt would be able to close in there by about 12 points. But that's right now, and we still have half a race left to go. Green flag back in the air for Wyatt Quayle. Here comes Justin Roberts, trying to look to the inside, can't get it.
It'll be very interesting to see. There goes Kukulon going to the inside.
There goes Jacobson to the inside. And Jacobson still has a pretty fast race car there in the number 63 machine. We have to watch out for him. There goes Kukulon on Julio Caesar. That is for third. Art in the outside wall just a little bit. And you got these guys, Silas Orta, and then Daniel McMillan. McMillan's still behind Orta there, but they're not too far off from the race leaders. The Wyatt Quayle leading here at Bristol. Justin Roberts, Sebastian Kukulon, and Lucas Jacobson looking to take fourth away from Julio Caesar. Yes, that car is running just as good as everybody else. Looks like a modified out there. It'd be pretty cool if he won this race.
Definitely would be. I was one that suggested it run as modified.
Oh, hard on the outside. John Arndt in the 05. And he really hit that outside wall hard. And he is falling back again. It's been a tough race for John Arndt, even though he's still in the lead lap. Yellow back out again. And this time I think it might have been John Andrews, Brad Stover, Seth Cole around that area. So our 6th caution of the race. You gotta love Bristol. It's like this every single year, but that's why we still have this race. It's got an interesting twist to it. And now I would expect Silas Orta and McMillan to stay out, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna come down here.
Very interesting.
But I would guess that they're probably either gonna go fuel only or just take right sides or 2 tires here compared to the rest of the field. But
Nathan Baird's going to get his lap back, so...
That's if he decides to stay out here, and then stays out, gets a caution, and then rolls back around. He hasn't quite earned his lap back. If he comes down this time, he'll still remain a lap down. That's what's been happening so far in this race. So our race leader was Wyatt Quayle. Let's see where Wyatt Quayle is here on the pit lane. There he is, but we'll focus here with Kukulon, and Kukulon is like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and take the race lead away.
For this, Cody Sill. Oh, this is...
And Kukulon's going to have to hit the pit lane again. That's the second time they've done it to Cody Sill. I think Cody Sill was the driver who caused, who was it? Yepes around to go around there. So Kukulon came off the pit lane first. He's going to have to go around the pit lane again. And he's going to fall to the end of the field. That's got to be frustrating for Kukulon. You know what? Kukulon's just coming back down. He's like, yeah, I might as well top off while I'm at it. That could play into effect on who wins this race. Kukulon was going to be the race leader. You know who took the race lead away? The guy who absolutely smashed that outside wall under that last green flag run. John Arndt has found his way back to the race lead. And this is interesting because, you know, we haven't talked about it too much as of late. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit since he won that 19th race. But he's going for win number 20. Trying to become the first driver ever on Napa Fan to win 20 races. So we'll have to see what he can do here. The lights are already out on the pace car, so you guys, depends on how I edit this race. Might have seen the replay of what happened there, but it's between Seth Cole there and Brad Stover. But it did not play a major factor into the race, so we'll go ahead and just roll with it right now. And get back to the restart. John Arndt, the race leader. Wyatt Quayle, Justin Roberts, Julio Caesar. McMillan is 5th. McMillan's still doing a good job right there. I don't know where Silas Orta fell to. He fell back to 12th. We only have ourselves 16 guys on the lead lap. Back to racing once again. Lap 60 of 100 for John Arndt in the 05.
If he could win this race, not to mention the amount of points, he wouldn't really hack into that lead that Nathan Bader's built up, but still, he would have put a slight dent into it. As McMillan, he's a man on a mission. He's already trying to battle Julio Caesar for that 4th position.
And outside lane gets a pretty good run off the corner, as we have seen so far in this race, but the inside is where you want to be to make a pass. McMillan's going to get it there on Julio Caesar. John Arndt has pulled away from Wyatt Quayle in the 33. And Justin Roberts in the 3rd position. Roberts is another guy. He's 111 behind, 5th in the championship coming into this thing, looking to put a little bit of a dent in the Nathan Baird's lead. We'll have to see what he can do in this race, but running 3rd right now here at Bristol. Carter Friesen battling for 5th to the inside of Julio Caesar. Jacobson is still here. Mark Davidson on the lead lap. Silas Orton moving his way through the field right there. And number 88 back inside the top 10 to the inside of Nathan Stapleton. And then Kukulon right there in the 13 machine is 12th right now. After he had to come down the pit lane again. He topped off on fuel. Matthew Phillips in the outside wall significantly hard. And you can see the damage there on the number 15 machine.
He's about knocked that wall down a couple times within the past couple of laps.
And Phillips definitely having a hard time, but John Arndt is not, and that is very surprising considering what happened to him in that last green flag run. I mean, you saw it happen. It was a massive hit to that outside wall. And the next pit stop, they didn't do anything in that race car except maybe put a couple tires on it and some gas. And he is now leading this race. I mean, track position means so much in this thing that if you're not inside the top 5, you pretty much have no chance of winning. McMillan is now up to 4th as he got around 5th place, and he's closing in on Justin Roberts for the 3rd position. And one thing I'm going to give McMillan a lot of credit for. His race car is perfectly clean. That might be an advantage to McMillan. He's going to try to get to the inside of Justin Roberts here. Can't quite get it on the 38 quite yet, but he might be able to make the move here soon as you see the damage on Roberts' machine as he got spun around earlier on in the race. Wyatt Quayle also trying to do the same on John Arndt. You see all the damage to John Arndt's machine. Wyatt Quayle with a completely clean race car. I think Quayle and McMillan are the only 2 drivers in this race with clean race cars because everyone else is at least smashed the outside wall or got spun around and got involved in some sort of wreck at some point throughout this event.
Yeah. Speaking of wrecks, I think this is probably the longest green flag run that we've had so far. Of course, now that I said that, there's going to be a car going in the catch fence, but
Don't
hey.
worry, I knocked on my wooden desk for you. We got ourselves a pretty good battle for the lead here. Wyatt Quayle, I think, is just a little bit faster than John Arndt. Arndt a little bit wide off the corner. But he's trying to get that run off the corner. I think that middle line off of turn number 2 is a pretty good line on the run here at Bristol. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves only 30 laps to go here in the Krystal Night Race. If this thing were to stay green, it would be done in like 15 minutes. But we always get so many L's in this race that it always takes a little while to get it all complete. I do believe Roberts and McMillan are actually closing in on this lead battle as well, so this thing is far from over. I can guarantee you, I'm pretty sure, that these guys are good to go on fuel. It's such a short racetrack that 40 laps is only about 20 miles, and they can make it on a tank of gas in just 20 miles, but we'll have to see how it all shakes out here. Lap 74-100, we're closing in on the final quarter of this race here in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol.
And right on the outside of the top 5, Carter Friesen, he's had a pretty dismal season, so he's running pretty good. Hopefully I didn't jinx him as well. And number 6, Lucas Jacobson, the modified machine. Modified Madness is getting a little bit of free advertisement here tonight.
It is. Lucas Jacobson doing a great job in that 64 after he had his moment with Nicholas Samadeo. Looking to salvage a good points day here at Bristol. And you know what? I think it's now time to kind of start the hype train up a little bit here for John Arndt. He is looking to make history here tonight. If he wins this race, he is the first driver in Napa fan history to win 20 races. It is a mark that Garrett Zenor has been trying to reach since November of 2017. Earlier in the season, back in May, he won 3 races within the span of 2 weeks. Won IROC at Indianapolis, won the Freedom 50, and then won the Pocono race in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. That put him at 19 wins. He's been there since early June of 2019. Garrett Zenor has been trying since November of 2017. The battle's between the 2 of those guys since early June. But now it's looking like John Arndt might win that battle and maybe win number 20 of his career. But I can tell he is slow compared to these guys behind him. It's just that hard to make a pass here at Bristol. These guys have closed in. McMillan at the end of this pack was a second behind not too long ago. Now it's only down to a half a second, and then number 75. And Carter Friesen's closing in this battle as well. I think if Wyatt Quayle gets to the inside of John Arndt, everybody's going to get to the inside of John Arndt.
Be very interesting to see. But John Arndt,
oh, John Arndt's wide. He's wide. Trying to get that run off the corner. Wyatt Quayle still has a chance at this race victory. He wants to get his second win of the season. As a matter of fact, all these guys, the top 3, all going for their second win of the season, except for McMillan, who's going for his first in 2019. But they're all over the back bumper of John Arndt here with under 20 laps to go in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol. Will anybody find a way around the 05, or will John Arndt pull away with this thing and win the 20th race of his Napa fan career?
Probably the best passing opportunity would be if John Arndt goes wide off of 2. He's done it before. Just look at the right side of that car. He's pancaked that outside wall, but he's running pretty consistent through that corner. Wyatt Quayle is just waiting for him to... If he makes a mistake, he's going to be all over that quarter panel.
He will be. Wyatt Quayle now trying to get a run on the outside lane. He's come super close to John Arndt, but just couldn't get to the inside of him. And McMillan might finally get something on Justin Roberts here, and that could be very significant to who wins this race, because McMillan, we know, has a very fast race car. He's going to clear Justin Roberts here. Carter Friesen's going to go to 4th. We'll have to see if McMillan can close in on Wyatt Quayle, but you see what side-by-side racing can do. It slows you down. And McMillan lost a little bit of ground there to our 2 race leaders, but it's still John Arndt holding onto the race lead. Oh, Quayle got a really good run right there. Try to get it. Here he goes to the inside of John Arndt for the race lead. He's going to put Arndt on the outside lane, and Wyatt Quayle with the better race car to the inside of John Arndt for the top position. And McMillan might get a free position right here as well. Will he get to the inside of John Arndt for the 2nd position? No, he will not. John Arndt holds on the 2nd. Oh, but that's got to hurt for John Arndt. He knew he had this race in the bag, but he could not hold off Wyatt Quayle. And Quayle, now with 12 laps to go, leads it in the Krystal Night Race at Bristol.
McMillan gets trapped on the outside. Roberts going to try to get to his quarter panel. No, he's not. We might have to deal with 24 for lap traffic.
We will. This could affect who wins this race. Roger Ray's definitely not up to speed compared to Wyatt Quayle and these guys. Got Lucas Jacobson also joining this battle. Mark Davis and Julio Cesar, Seth Cole and Kukalon rounding out the top 10. As a matter of fact, it's actually Silas Orta in 9th. 10 laps to go at Bristol for Wyatt Quayle, who's gotten around John Arndt for the race lead on the racetrack. He's the only driver so far in this race who has made a pass on the racetrack, and that is very deserving of a race victory for Wyatt Quayle if he can get it. But McMillan knows he has a chance. He needs to get around John Arndt if he's going to have that chance. He's got a bit of a run to the inside, but Arndt's going to get a run on the outside lane.
Closing in on Samadeo. This is going to get interesting.
Roger Ray there, the number 24, is closing in, but he is running considerably fast. Considering he is a lap machine. There goes McMillan. I think he's going to get it right here. Not quite. John Arndt puts the block on him. McMillan got a really good run off the corner right there, but he still can't get the run to the inside. And McMillan's chances of winning this race are slowly fading away. As for John Arndt, Wyatt Quayle, however, getting trapped behind Roger Ray. We're going to have to see if he can get around this 24. Because if he gets stuck behind him, which he isn't, going to make the move to the inside. He's got to be careful as he's getting to the inside of the 24. This is going to slow him down, and John Arndt has come down the pit lane. Are we having pit stops at the end of this race?
This is going to get interesting.
John Arndt has come down. That could have just been for damage. I don't know if they packed enough fuel in that machine or not. Remember, he went from 12th to the race lead, but we have pit stops going on at the end of this race. Did McMillan save enough? Did Wyatt Quayle save enough? They're both staying out right now. It might have just been John Arndt. It's very possible it could have just been the 05, which is a tough one for John Arndt. Had a shot at winning this race. He's going to end up finishing behind Nathan Baird. McMillan's coming down the pit lane. So is Justin Roberts. They're all coming down. Quayle is still out there. We're still green. 2 laps to go at Bristol. Is Quayle going to come down? He's staying now. He's coming down.
Yes,
Wyatt Quayle's down the pit lane with 2 laps to go.
Oh,
is anybody? Kukalon. Oh, my goodness. You know what he did? He came down. He topped off. He's going to do it. Green flag still in the air. White flag for Sebastian Kukalon in the number 13. Unbelievable. You know who he can thank for this race victory? Cody Sill. He pushed him down the pit lane. He had to come down the pit lane for a second time. He topped off, and he's the only guy able to make it. Sebastian Cucalon wins the Krystal Night Race at Bristol.
Oh my goodness, what a turn of events right there.
His first career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory here tonight. Oh my, and how does this guy keep on doing it? Nathan Baird finished third here tonight at Bristol.
Holy crap.
Now, John Arndt finished fifth. McMillan finished fourth. Wyatt Quayle finished second. But Sebastian Cucalon, and I said when it happened, hey, that could affect the race at the end. And sure enough, it did. And I would like to apologize. I said that these guys are going to be good on fuel. Well, you cannot trust me with that. You should know that by now. Oh my goodness. How about that for Sebastian Cucalon? And it's the strangest way I think I've seen anybody win a race, because he only was able to make it because he had to come down the pit lane again. He got forced into the pit lane a second time after the last cycle, and he came down. He just topped off on fuel at the end, figuring, hey, I might as well do so. I'm going to be at the end of the field anyway. And he was able to stay out and take the win away from Wyatt Quayle. And he was the only guy who finished on the lead lap, according to the official standings. Oh my goodness, absolutely unbelievable race here. And I think even more unbelievable is how Nathan Baird, out of all that, I think Nathan Baird also was able to stretch it to the end, and he finished third. And I mean, that's it. The championship is like done at this point. There's no use even trying to follow that. Congratulations, Mr. Baird. I think it's pretty safe to say you're going to win the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series championship this year. But Sebastian Cucalon, that's his first career Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory. Awesome to see that out of him, because he's a guy who did an excellent job in the Turkey Hill Series and the Turkey Hill Truck Series last year. I was really looking forward to him moving up into the Cup Series this year, and he's finally got a Chick-Fil-A Cup Series race victory in one of the most stunning fashions I have ever seen in my life. Absolutely unbelievable, but congratulations to Sebastian Cucalon. I mean, he was deserving of that race win, because he won the race off the pit lane during that last yellow flag cycle, but had to get forced back in, and he fell to the end of the field, and it worked out for Cucalon. And oh my. Trey, final thoughts on this one. How do you make sense of all that?
You just got to thank Cody Sill for that. I mean, if Sill didn't force him back down, he wouldn't have gone topped off. But for a lot of those guys, and Nathan Baird, once again, Mr. Where did he come from? Like you said, he's practically just locked up the championship at this point. But oh my, that is probably one of the strangest ways I have ever seen anyone win an NR 2003 race.
Yeah, but Cucalon getting it done here tonight at Bristol. He's got the honor of winning that really strange race. And, I mean, another thing I'm going to mention with Nathan Baird here, that's how he's gotten all these championship points. I mean, he's really not been running well in a lot of these races, but just right at the end, he finds his way into the top 10, into the top 15. And he's just done that pretty much every race this season. And once again, he was a lap down pretty much the entire race. And he finished a lap down, but he finished third overall. And that's going to give him over 40 points. I mean, it's just done. Nathan Baird's he's done it. We're only going to have 4 races left to go in the season. He's got nearly a 3-race point. Actually, you know what? Excuse me. He's not going to pull away from John Arndt that much. He's still only 105 ahead at this point. So he didn't actually gain that much on John Arndt, because Arndt finished 5th after all that. But, oh man, I don't know. How do you make sense of all this? But I can say Nathan Baird, it's pretty safe to say he's clinched the championship. We're just going to be going for the race wins here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series at this point, which is going to be fun, because the next 4 races are some of the best races we get year-round. The second Talladega race next week. Then we have Darlington, which is one of my favorite races of the year, the Southern 500. Then we have Indianapolis. It's the penultimate race this season. That's always a great show here in the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. And, of course, the Chick-Fil-A 500 at Homestead. 4 weeks from now? Yeah, 4 weeks from now, middle of September, and all of the races are always good, so it's going to be for the race wins at this point. It's going to be fun to see who gets these race victories at the end of this season, and we'll have to see. It might be the last season. I'm really, up in the air on what I'm going to do next year. Got to see how school goes this semester. I am considering this being the last season, not because I don't want to do this series anymore, but just because I want to do something else, but I can't do everything. And it's just a matter of how much time I have and what I want to do. I love the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series, but it isn't my favorite series on this channel. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. But either way, the guys who win the championship, Nathan Baird, and the guy who won the All-Star race, Nathan Stapleton, will get reserves for whatever comes next. We'll make sure of that, and we'll make sure you guys, have those slots available. But it could be the last season of the Chick-Fil-A Cup Series. I've said it will be, I've said it won't be, and I'm still back and forth with it on what I'm going to do. There will be something next year. I guarantee it. It might not just be this series, and we'll have to see what happens. But either way, Sebastian Coquelin is going to get a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory here tonight. He gets it at Bristol, and we thought the racing action was done this weekend. Just wait until tomorrow for the Haas World Championship 100 in the Haas IndyCar Series. We're going to crown a champion over there, and the championship battle over there is much closer than it is here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so you definitely want to check that race out. It's going to be fun between those 5 championship contenders in Justin Zaidel, Christian Vargas, Cody Smart, Christopher Alphaby, and Richard Kinghart. So check it out tomorrow at noon Eastern Time while I'm on my way to the real life Pocono race, and I think you're going to be there too, aren't you, Trey?
As long as I get this Death of a Salesman stuff done that I've been working on, yes.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'll go ahead and let you get that done, and we'll go ahead and let you guys go so you guys can watch the Xfinity race from Bristol. We got more Bristol racing in real life coming up. Great weekend for racing here on NAPFan in real life, and we thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight for the Krystal Night Race. Congratulations to Sebastian Coquelin. Here are the championship standings in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series after 24 races. And that is it for me. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the Haas World Championship 100. On behalf of Trey Wright, I will see you guys later.
Hover, 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 hover in my jetpack kicks. Hover, 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 I can see the world in my jetpack kicks. Drop out the sky like bomb guards. Straight on down to Georgia, light up the sky so bright at night that people say, is it the morning? Space invaders, let's make some craters. Put up your lightsabers, guitar fader, feel the force when my kicks on. You can feel the force when my kicks on. Family Force 5 when my kicks on. My kicks on. Go. You can feel the force when my kicks on. Family Force 5 when my kicks on. Jetpack kicks high in the sky, walking on air. I know how to fly in my jetpack kicks. My jetpack kicks, just don't want free hover in my jetpack kicks. All laced up, rockets on blast. Sonic boom, so fast in my jetpack kicks. My jetpack kicks, I can see the world in my jetpack kicks. Hover, 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 hover in my jetpack kicks. Hover, 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 I can see the world in my jetpack kicks.